All right, guys, let's talk about a watch that might trigger some people's senses, whether it be your love or hate for Tag Heuer Aquaracer or your love or hate for Quartz movements. This one is both of those. So double whammy for some people. So I give you a fair warning right now. I actually like this watch. So we're only 20 seconds in. It's not too late for you to turn back. Go ahead and get out. And for the rest of the people that are interested in a really well-built 41 millimeter affordable luxury, entry-level luxury watch, stick around. If you're okay with challenging yourself to not get so caught up in the automatic watches and are willing to maybe save some money to experience certain brands by looking at their quartz models, this is a good watch to look at. So let's talk about the case size here. Before I get started on that, I want to say a big thanks to my buddy Hector, who's a member of my Patreon group. He sent this one in. This is his personal watch. He has not worn it. He has kept all the plastics on it, and he purchased this from WatchMax, which is a gray market dealer. Here is the hang tag. There's the part number if you want to pause it and look at it. There it is. I'll also put it in the description down below. So case size on this thing, I think is supposed to be like 41. I measured at like 40.6, not including the crown guards or the crown. 47 millimeter lug to lug. You can see really nice polished side profile on this. And I've had some other Aquaracers on the show. I think this might be the first metal bezel. I can't remember. But I really like the automatics. And this Quartz one is intriguing to me because of how affordable it is. 12 millimeter thick, or thin in this case, I guess. So it's just as thin as like the automatics. 20 millimeter lug width. Bracelet tapers down nicely to 18 millimeter. You can see the center links are brushed the same as the outside of them, but they're raised up, so it gives it a little depth to it. The clasp here is 3 micro adjust double pushers, and it's all milled out. There is a stamped dive extension, easy to deploy. Use it or don't use it. I don't know that you would use it as you're dust diving, but if you wanted to take this thing diving, you can do that because it is a 300-meter water depth rating on it. The best I can tell, I think they call this like the caliber 11. I could be wrong on that, but the best I could tell with the information I gathered is they're using a Ronda 6003, which is a beefed up variant of the Ronda 702. It has 4 joules, uses a 373 battery, I think. The movement, I'll put a link in the description. There's a little bit of information if you go to Esslinger. That's where you can buy parts or movements or whatever for watches. I think the movement is around $30. So if you needed to service, aka replace the movement, you could do that for a pretty reasonable price, whether you do it yourself or you have a watchmaker do it. But if you do some research on the Ronda movements, they're pretty reliable and they keep very good timekeeping on them. Sometimes quartz watches aren't always as accurate as you would hope they would be. So you can see the seconds hand has a little bit of bounce to it. That's typical. I've looked at other videos and read up on it. That is typical for these movements. Also, you'll notice that it doesn't always hit all of the marks. It hits a lot of them over on the 9 o'clock side, but over on this side, it just doesn't hit them that great. I don't think there's going to be any way to fix that, because if you're hitting some and not all of them, then it's just, I don't think you can fix that. You know what I'm saying? So if you have like crazy OCD on that, then you might want to look elsewhere. There's a lot of good quartz watches out there that don't hit them as there is that do hit them. So it's really weird to me to see so many different variations of that tick hitting them or not hitting them. You would think it would be more important to a lot of manufacturers to make sure it hits those marks. Like right there, you can see it hits them dead on. So I talked about the size. This one has a brilliant deep blue, sunburst effect dial to it. Actually, if we zoom in, we can get a closer look at that. You can see it has the standard Tag Heuer handset there that is really cool. It has like the shield tips on it, the squatted shield logo there. Nice indices. When we do the lume shot at the end, spoiler alert, it does have dual lume. I'm super excited about that. It's really cool. The color inside, it's hard to pick up, but is actually a really nice dark blue in colored in on the metal bezel as well. Nice loom pip there. So this is a 120 click bezel. It is a very smooth, clean bezel action. There's not a ton of resistance, but you don't really want to do a ton of resistance on this because there's not a ton of traction on it. So, and there's a little bit of play, I guess you will. But the other thing that's really cool about this one, just like the automatics that I've had on, you get a nice crown pop to it, and then when you extend this crown out, it is super solid. There's no wiggle to the crown at all. So nice, easy screw down crown. So bracelet, folds over almost flat. That center link articulates. So it's going to be very comfortable on wrist. Speaking of which, I will pop it on wrist. And being that it is a 20 millimeter lug width, as far as I can tell on the measurement, you're going to be able to put on, one of these vulcanized rubber straps that I've fallen in love with from like Strapnell Canada or something. But the tag bracelets are really good too. So you can see there on my 7 1/4 wrist, this wears great. It's a very good size. So if you were thinking you wanted to get a tag, but you didn't want to spend, the full-blown price of like an automatic, which I think retail for around 25, you can probably pick them up for around 17, 1800 or something like that for the automatics. The Quartz brand new retail starts at 1550, I think. If you jump over to like Joma Shop when they have a sale, which they have a sale right now, grads and dads, because we're almost on Father's Day. I think their sale is 1050, and I'm pretty sure Hector said he paid about that from WatchMax. So new gray market, you're at that $1,000 mark. Now, if you look on the used side of things, you should be able to pick these up for a few $100 less than that. So now you're, somewhere between the $500 and $1,000 mark, and you're getting a tag. Like, it's a good watch. It's got some nice weight to it. I didn't get a weight on it, but it feels like you would think an automatic would feel. Has a nice braid. It has all the same elements that the automatic would have, but you have a quartz movement in there, and that saves you. I mean, if you're just comparing the quartz to the automatic, just on its face value, that saves you $1,000. So on the used market, it'll also save you about $1,000. Well, $1,000 when the watch only costs like 25 to 15, that's a ton of money. So if you think you want to check one out, maybe a Quartz is the one you want to check out. They're easy to service, they're easy to use, they're nice grab and go, and you still have the really cool look of the Tag Heuer. So let me kill these lights, we'll take a look at the loom, and then I'm out of here. Oh, another one just real quick. If you're interested in maybe going to an older Omega, they had these electric blue ones in quartz, and I think you could pick them up good, clean, working condition for somewhere in between 1,500 and 2,000, maybe on the high end. So that's another option, but you're talking used versus new, but it's just another similar cool looking watch. Definitely, you're going to have a little more pedigree with the Omega, but you're going to have to buy it used, and it's still going to be a quartz one versus an automatic. Anyway, I thought I would just point that out. So let's check out that loom on this guy, and there you can see a nice dual loom colorway to that, which is always fun to see. And quite frankly, the tag seems like there's just more real estate than some of the Omega that I've had on here. So their dual loom shows up really good because you don't have those skeleton hands that are on some of the newer Seamasters. So you definitely have more real estate in there for loom. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next vid.